Welcome to Grand Sumo Breakdown,
the unofficial sumo podcast
for official sumo fans.
Welcome to Grand Sumo Breakdown. This is Ryan.
This is Jake.
This is Flarek.
This is Mac.
And this is going to be our preview for the Hatsu 2020 Basho. As hopefully everybody can tell right off the bat, I am feeling much better than when we recorded our award show just about a week ago at this time.
I can't believe we're in 2020. We've been doing this for 3 years now.
Yeah,
we've been doing this show since last decade.
I'm going to kill Jake.
We spanned the decades.
Not if I beat you to it.
So I can't promise that I won't devolve into some form of hacking and coughing like I did on the award show, which you should check out to get a pretty full recap of the entire year of 2019
Very
in sumo
thorough.
wrestling. But yeah, there might still be some coughing fits that come from me. I just cannot promise that those are completely gone yet.
Speaking of awards shows, I have a quick shout out to one of my favorite podcasts, Heavy Hands. It's a MMA podcast. If you're interested, it's awesome. But I just wanted to bring them up because they also did an end of year awards show.
I believe they stole that idea from us.
I think so too.
Yeah.
But they did like I said, the title of the show is Heavy Hands, so they decided to call their award show The Handies. So they gave out
named.
They gave out handies to all sorts of MMA fighters. They were giving out handies left and right for about an hour and a half show. It was excellent.
How do we come up with a better name for our
I don't know, but we need
How do
to
we
step up
somehow
our game.
turn our awards into the blowies, which is clearly better than a handy?
No.
All right.
Grand Sumo Blowdown.
Oh, God, no.
I do not want to be a part of that podcast. Let's move on very quickly from that.
Light speed.
Just so everybody knows, when we are recording this on the Monday before the Basho, so there's about 6 days until the tournament is going to start. So if there are any last-minute Kyujos where people don't show up to the tournament unexpectedly, we're not going to be able to talk about that on the podcast. As far as we know, it sounds like everybody should be showing up. At least all of the top people should be showing up this Basho, at least to start it. So we don't think there's going to be any absences, but if there are, you can follow us on Twitter. We'll probably keep you updated on that. Tachi iBlog, @SumoFollower are very good figuring out who is not showing up for the Basho. As always, on our preview episodes, we're going to try to do a little bit of emphasis on vocab and maybe explaining some of the rules like Ozeki runs and Kadoban and demotions and stuff like that a little bit more in case this is their jumping on point to listening to us and getting introduced to sumo. But before...
And therefore their life can now begin.
I was about to say, in which case, welcome. Thank you for finally joining us. Your life is about to change.
Not necessarily for the better.
Well, I didn't say it was going to be good.
So before we talk about Hatsu 2020, as always, let's take a look back at the previous Basho. Let's take a look at Kyushu 2019 with some help from our correspondent, B.
Hey guys, B here. I can't talk long. I'm actually in Fukuoka at the post-pay-per-view press conference. The Champions interview's coming up soon, but just a couple quick thoughts. First, can we talk about whatever agent has started encouraging the boys to do strong style? Like, we got Mataki Yumi getting color hard way. We got Shahozan doing fighting spirit spots every match. And we've got Endo taking a legit KO to the jaw. You had how many injuries this Basho? All shoots. And your solution is to tell the boys to lay it in? Young talent-wise, well, we all saw how that went, giving them the old, oh, but he looked good in defeat treatment. But that said, at least they haven't abandoned Asanoyama yet. And I like that Enho's still getting the spotlight, but they're wearing me out with it's the end of the tourney. Will he get his Kachikoshi storyline every single pay-per-view now? I mean, can they bring up whoever's writing Jurio to book some main roster stuff? That playoff storyline was awesome, but it's being wasted on the developmental brand. Also, that one Gyoji Konosuke, if he keeps going into business for himself with these crap Mata calls, he's going to end up reffing in a bow tie and gloves on a tarp somewhere in Texas. Oh, and one more thing. We've got two... Oh, wait, hold on. Guys, the press conference starting. Hakuho's making his way in. I got to go. I'll see you for Hatsu. Bye.
How did he get tickets to Hakuho? We tried. We were in Nagoya. Why? What did he do?
I think he was there at the time when we are still here in Iowa. That was probably step one.
Genius.
Yeah.
That's just genius.
But no, a good recap. I think we still have some miscommunications on the amount of scripting that is involved in sumo wrestling, but we appreciate having boots on the ground. He's a great correspondent.
At this point, he's a lost cause, and honestly, we're not paying him, so he can send in whatever the heck he wants.
That might be news to him.
So let's start talking about sumo and the Hatsu 2020 Basho, and let's get started where we left most of our conversation in 2019, and that is the injured, the battered, the former Ozekis.
The who?
The injured, the battered, the former Ozekis.
Yeah, the who?
Turn Mac's headphones up. I think he's having trouble.
Oh, okay.
No, as in they haven't shown up all this past year. Their performances
Past 2 or 3 years,
Excuse me.
really.
Yes, thank you very much. Their performances have been lacking. So many have yo-yoed up and down. Is this really the caliber of Ozekis that we like to see? I mean, you've got Goedo.
Like to see, no.
Well, I mean, you've got Goedo doing his normal 8 and off and on bashos. Unfortunately, you've got Takayasu.
Well, until this one.
Well, whoa.
Yeah. Well,
Tell
I
me
mean,
more.
well, he didn't get any wins at Goedo. I mean,
Exactly.
so that's bad.
That's
I
very
guess
bad.
is what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yes, it's very bad.
Okay.
That's not good. That's not what you want for an Ozeki. You want guys that are hungry for that Yokozuna spot, and I'm not seeing it.
I think Taka Keisho is probably the only guy currently ranked Ozeki, of which there are only 2 now that you could qualify as probably hungry for Yokozuna in like the way that he's performed, but he has been injured and that's kind of affected his performance recently. But let's start with Goedo. As Mac mentioned, he is back on the dohyo and training after he showed up for the Kyushu Basho. He was 0-1. He lost his first match, and then he pulled out for the rest of the tournament. So he got 0 wins, which makes him a Kadoban Ozeki, which means if you are Kadoban, if you have 2 straight losing records, you will lose your rank of Ozeki, which we will talk about a little bit more when we get to Takayasu. So as long as Goedo gets a winning record this time, he will maintain his Ozeki rank. He has been quoted as saying, "I can mostly brace against my left ankle," which is the reason he pulled out of the Kyushu Basho. "I'll make it in time for the Basho. I'll start practicing actual bouts tomorrow or the day after." And that quote came from about mid last week.
Oh, I was gonna say, did that quote come out like today or?
No, that was a few days ago.
Good.
He's also said, "I have experience in being Kadoban."
Breaking news, everyone.
No
he has
freaking kidding.
experience.
That's not really a brag.
Yeah, as this will be, I believe, his 9th time as a Kadoban Ozeki.
Lord.
And so we followed up saying, "So although it's tense, I'll concentrate on each day separately." The most sumo thing you can
I was
say.
about to say, wow.
Is he going to try his
Prophetic
brand
words.
of sumo? Is he very happy?
Rumor has it, he is very happy.
Yes.
So what do you guys think? Will Goedo be an Ozeki for Haru 2020 in March?
I have hope.
The man's like a cockroach. You just can't get rid of him.
I agree more with Mac than with Flerick. purely semantically, I agree with Mac. I don't think there is no chance there's absolutely no way on heaven or earth that Goedo does not get less than 8 wins, because that is the type of world that we deserve.
This
I'm
is
sorry,
just
he will
so-
get exactly 8
Exactly.
wins.
This is just so common. This is just what you expect from Goedo. He'll get his minimum, and that's about it. I mean, again, I feel like the Basho that we started way back in 16 was the fluke of all flukes, when he actually got the Yusho.
A Zensho Yusho.
Yes.
Of all things.
And this most recent one, he got an anti-Zen show.
Yeah.
Wait, we need to trademark that. Anti-Zen show.
Yep, we're
I
going
like
to trademark that.
They call
Totally
it the
real
Yokozuna
word.
special nowadays.
Work on that.
I mean, they just don't show up. Kakuryu got it last time, too.
Oh.
He was 0 for the tournament because he didn't show up. It's what, like, if you look at the schedule for the last year, probably about a little less than half of all Yokozuna tournaments are going to be 0-fers for the tournament. So, But Flerick, you were
makes
going
me
to say
really
something
sad.
about Goedo.
Yes, I was going to. I guess hearing stuff from training that he's doing pretty good. That's kind of like the big thing pushing me over, because it sounds like he's mostly healthy. It's hard to, we impossibly don't know exactly where that's at. So that's kind of where my hope is right there. In the past, he's just always shown that he, like he said, like a cockroach. almost like cockroach. I like cockroach. You can't get rid of them, so I really do think.
Dang, I wish that we were able to make these same jokes about Cockeryu, because then he could just be a cockroach.
Yeah, but Cockeryu is actually good at times.
Yeah, I know, and that's the problem.
Wait till the end of the career. Maybe he'll have a long, drawn-out decline, like some other ones.
Oh, like he did in 2017 or 2018 or whatever?
Oh, yeah, that was bad.
And then he decided, like, hey.
Hey, I'm a Yokozuna. I can do
right.
things.
I need to, like, wrestle.
Yeah.
So I think we all agree that a Goeido Kachikoshi is inevitable at this point. But do we think he will actually challenge and push for the Yusho this time?
Wait, are you serious?
Not really, no.
Okay, I was about to say. All right, let's really just get it out there. No.
Yeah, we'll move on to a former Ozeki at this point in Takayasu,
This one hurts.
who was injured in the Nagoya Basho of 2019 and then was unable to compete well enough in Aki and Kyushu, had back-to-back losing records, and is now dropped down to the Sekiwake rank, where if he gets 10 wins or more, he can return to the rank of Ozeki, which will be the third time that we have seen a demoted Ozeki do that in the span of under a year.
Yeah.
Holy crap, that would be awesome.
So, a bit of update on Takayasu's health. He is also back on the dojo and training. Doesn't quite seem like he's at 100% as of mid last week is the last training update I heard about him. He's been practicing for a couple of days and practicing hard, but after he practices for a little bit, it sounds like he needs a little bit of rest. He said that he has neglected his health in the past, and he is now working on reforging his body. He has moderated his eating habits and lost 10 kilograms, as well as increased his muscle pumping. So
That is awesome
I was
phrasing.
about to say, I love that.
So it sounds like he's trying to focus on getting his body healthier, because it was his elbow injury that took him out in Nagoya and Aki, but it was a back issue that took him out in Kyushu. So it looks like he's just trying to get overall his body in a better shape where just random dropouts won't happen.
Yeah, because it's not a technique problem. That is really not the issue at all with Takayasu. It is purely a health thing. If he's healthy, he's like, a 9 to 12 win every time kind of guy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Also, I went back and I did some math. Sorry to interrupt you there. I wanted to really crunch the numbers because I feel like there was an issue with Takayasu this summer. And it turns out that he had a significant injury every single day that Flarik was watching him in person. Oh, yeah?
Oh.
Yes.
You found out my secret.
Yes. I'm upset about it.
So
the
why
one
would-
time that Flarik was allowed in the building to watch Takayasu wrestle, he blew out that elbow. Well, he got that elbow
What does
blown
it
out.
say on that wall, Flarik?
I don't know. It's just like some random symbols.
It says Takayasu on my wall, Flarik.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
I'm so
I'm
sorry.
doing the detective work for him.
If only Flarik had known your wall said Takayasu before he forced
If
Tamawashi
only-
to
Yeah.
injure
Yeah.
his elbow.
Actually, I
Face is
didn't.
on this cup.
That's an adorable Takayasu.
And what about that the Tagata up on my bookshelf?
Okay, you like Takayasu.
Yeah. Exactly. That's why I'm standing up for him against you and your foul deeds.
All right, so despite Flarik's best intentions, or worst intentions, really, will Takayasu be able to get the 10 wins that he needs to regain his Ozeki rank in the Haru Basho?
I believe in miracles. I think he can do it.
I have heard he's increasing his muscle pumping.
And right away, right before he gets into the dojo, he does that amazing grunt where his whole body just
I think he stopped
springs.
doing that recently, didn't he?
I don't know, but I hope that is what he means by muscle pumping. And that's
what
all he's doing
That's
all day.
exactly what I'm hoping for. He's just getting his whole body ready to just spring out of the tachi-ai.
In front of the full length dojo mirror.
That kind of reminds me of Kisei with the weird training techniques, so I don't know.
Did
Oh, you
Kisei
mean-
Nosato have some weird training techniques?
Yeah. I think I remember reading somewhere where like Takayasu said I was studying some film. I was watching horses. I was kind of watching how they perform. I'm going to take that and bring that to my sumo.
But why would he be watching a 4-footed animal?
Yeah.
That's bad luck for sumo.
Are you referring to Takayasu's stablemate, Kisano Sato? Because they probably both have weird crap going on.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. I think that horsing was Takayasu, but I could be very wrong.
Either way, I think he can do it.
What about you, Jake?
Obviously, I want to say yes, but yeah, he's had so many. The part of what I feel should make us skeptical is that it is those multiple injuries that are causing trouble. If it was just one thing and he had been steadily recovering from it, that would be a different story. But the elbow and the back, 2 different reasons for 2 different tournament pullouts. That's worrying. I really hope that it works out, but I can't say that I believe it will happen. I think it's unlikely, unfortunately.
I'm also saying yes because I want to see 3 drop downs and then back to Ozekis in 1 year because I think that would just be outstanding.
We have to have
Kind of
the drama.
diminishes the specialty of it, though.
Well, a
The
little.
novelty.
Well,
Yeah, but I
rarity.
get bored, so I need exciting things. But no, I don't know.
Have faith.
I'm super
Have
skeptical.
faith.
I'm kind of with you too. Like it's just I'm not. What I'm hearing doesn't give me a good enough faith that he'll be able to pull it off. That he's actually able to pull that out, and he has to get to 10 wins opposed to just 8 compared to Goedo. So it's like he has to have like an outstanding basho. I guess it might be possible if for some reason the competition like all kind of drops out. Like if Kakuyu drops out, Hakuho drops out. From there, you might have a shot.
If the entire Sanyaku pulls out injured, as seems to happen every other basho, I mean, why not this time?
But yeah, I'm not feeling too good about his chances to get it back this time.
Yeah, I'm pretty on the fence. I think he easily gets 8 to 9, but getting to that 10 mark could be pretty difficult for him. It's been since March of last year where he got to the 10 win mark while healthy, albeit there was only one basho between that 10 win tournament and then him getting injured, so it's not a huge time frame to be able to tell really his current trend of healthy sumo, but we don't know that he's going to be at healthy sumo. I'm going to put the odds at 40% Ozeki Takayasu next time, but I think it's over 50% chance that he does not make it this time.
I think the numbers I would do similar numbers there, but yeah, it's also an issue that Takayasu has a habit of giving up 1 or 2 losses in the first week, regardless of competition. It's God, I hate it, but I'm super pessimistic about this one.
Yeah. So let's move on to the only other active Ozeki at this time, which is Taka Keisho. Hey guys, we finally booted somebody out of the whole Ozeki Sekiwake promotion demotion talk. We're now only down to 3 instead of 4. So we've kicked Tochinoshi on down the Bonsuke. We don't have to talk about him here anymore.
That's
as sad as that is.
Can we talk about him later?
yeah.
I mean, we'll mention him. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yay.
But let's get back to Taka Keisho, who is our only Ozeki who is safe for this tournament, where he has no chance of being demoted next time.
Which is confirmation that he's probably going to get injured somehow and pull out.
Yes.
Well, yeah, I mean, is probably going to be the exact same thing that happened to him last year when he was an Ozeki and then got demoted and then got his 10 wins and is back to Ozeki. It's just the same thing with every Ozeki for the past year, which is getting very tiring and annoying. I want to talk about something else.
Yeah, I think there's about a 0% chance that Taka Keisho gets anywhere between 3 and 12 wins. I think that it's
Wow.
What?
I think it's going to be either great or terrible. I guess is what I'm saying.
It's interesting that you say 12, I guess.
Yeah, that's a pretty
that was
high
that was
watermark.
what caused me to go, huh?
Well, I mean, he's done it before, hasn't he?
He has.
I just think that the
couple
way
times,
Yeah.
the way
But
that
he's coming off of a 9-6.
but the way that the sumo fates are working right now, it's either
yes.
going to line up perfectly or terribly for him. Like the way that things are going for everybody else, I think it's. Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea where Taka Keisho is going to fit into it. Is what I'm saying.
That's kind of the Yokozuna and Ozeki privilege. They can afford to, like, if stuff is not going well, to just kind of pull out.
And this is the first time Taka Keisho can ever be in that situation, where if he pulls out, he's okay.
Yeah.
It'll be too tempting. Like, New Year's is kind of coming up. Maybe I should just pull out and just, take it easy.
New Year's already happened.
Chinese New Year.
That's in the summer, dude.
Taka Keisho might be like,
coming
well,
soon.
I only need 2 more wins to get that Kachikoshi, but there's a sick party going on tonight.
Sick party, yo.
I might just pull out and, I'll be Karoban next time, but that's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, I don't know how much partying anybody at the Chiganoura stable is going to want to be doing, as they seem to all be recovering from the flu. I know that stable was pretty much shut down over the Christmas and New Year's holidays. I think they just started letting people come back January 3rd, which is 3 days ago at this point.
I like to think they sent like a Gyoji in there, just throw salt everywhere.
Purify.
Or just send in one of the low-ranked Gyoji or Yobidashi, go in there, see if he gets sick, and then if he makes
Like
it
a
2 days
canary.
without being sick, then they can go
Like
back
a
into the
canary in a
stable.
mine.
I'm just trying
How's
to
the Shukebito? Is he sick?
manservant. How is your stomach feeling? I'm just trying to imagine the absolute horror of like a dozen or two large men all having gastrointestinal issues at the same time.
Especially with their diets.
That plumbing
they all-
must be outstanding.
Man, devastating potential right there.
But
So Takakeisho.
yes,
So moving on from poop talk.
it has recovered from the flu. He is back and training. It sounds like he's going to be ready to go for the Hatsu Basho. So Jake has already said that his expectations for Takakeisho are either if he competes, he's going to do amazing, or he's going to get hurt and pull out right away.
I'll actually double with that in the sense that I fully expect him to be in the Yusho race this time.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think he was maybe kind of injured or trying to fight back his spot last time.
Yes, last time he was recovering from the partially torn pectoral muscle that he had injured when he was fighting Mitaki Yumi in the playoff match from Aki.
Yeah.
So the last time he was fully healthy, he was in that Yusho race.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So like you said, like when he was fully healthy, he was in the Yusho race, and he just last time even injured, like he still got a 9-6. He was like doing a lot of work. So with another month or two off, just kind of training and resting, I fully expect him to be up there.
I'm jumping on that train as well. I think he's going to be one to watch this Basho.
Yeah, I think healthy Takakeisho easily gets to the 10-win range fairly consistently. I will remember Jake's comment about 0 to 3 or 12 to 15 wins when it comes time to making bets later on the podcast.
Oh, I reserve the right to completely throw that prediction in the garbage.
But yeah, it sounds like Takakeisho is probably the guy we have most confidence in to perform well of the upper tier guys that aren't named Yokozuna.
Yeah, it's actually kind of
go ahead.
kind of exciting because it's an Ozeki who's actually still young and not hugely injury prone yet. So
Yeah,
Yet being the
Goedo
keyword.
in his 30s, Takayasu is in his late 20s. So yeah, you don't really expect a late Yokozuna surge out of either of those guys, really, even if Takayasu gets back to the Ozeki rank.
I would disagree slightly there that he is not the guy, that he is not the non-Yokozuna I have the most faith in, but we will get there.
Yes, we will talk about Abi in just a few moments, Jake.
Okay, good. I was actually talking about Daisho.
Oh, sorry. My mistake. But before,
Just kidding. No one's ever talking about Daisho.
Before we get to our favorite Daisho, let's talk about the Yokozuna and Hakuho. We were going to talk about kind of focus on Hakuho, how he seems healthy, but he hasn't really completed back-to-back Bashos since back in 2017 is the last time he finished back-to-back tournaments, which he won in May and July of 2017. But right before we started recording, there was an interesting tweet that came out from @sumofollower where there was apparently an interview with Hakuho. We don't have the full details on this yet.
Yeah, this is breaking news that you probably read about yesterday when you're listening to this.
Correct.
Yes, but Hakuho is quoted as blurting out, "I might as well let you see everything. It's going to end this year. I'll retire this year."
wow.
So
I feel like he could have started that off a little differently. I'm going to let you see everything.
We already have, buddy.
It's like, okay,
So-
I can't get much more than a Mawashi.
the context for it,
Everything.
yeah, the Mawashi
Everything.
covers a little
Reveals
bit back.
all.
But no, so the context for this was Hakuho was doing an interview with somebody, and he was giving them a peek into his weight training routine, and he was just talking about everything that goes inside of that, and I guess he's just to the point was like, you know what, doesn't freaking matter anymore. I'm going to be retiring this year. You can see everything that I do. So we had all known that Hakuho was planning on getting to the Tokyo Olympics. He wanted to be part of the opening ceremony there. But after that point, really didn't know what his goals were. He has that torn bicep muscle, which people are still thinking is kind of hampering him a little bit.
He did lose one time in the last tournament.
To Daisho, of all people.
Like I said, he hasn't completed back-to-back tournaments in over 2 years. So it's not really a surprise, but to get the official it seems like an official announcement from Hakuho that he's retiring this year. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
For all we know, he says that every training session. Like,
Well, it was after the Kyushu Basho that he won where he said, no, I'm going to go for 50 Yusho, which would require him to win all of the Yusho this year, plus one next year to get to that mark.
Unless they do that one early.
yeah.
I don't think they will.
I don't know. For Hakuho, though, maybe. You know how much the Sumo Association loves Hakuho.
Oh, yeah, they just bend over
clearly.
backwards to make Hakuho feel good. That was sarcasm, by the way. They hate Hakuho.
Yeah, I think the only thing we know is like he's gonna probably make it through the Olympics. After that, it's probably gonna be just kind of up to how he's feeling and kind of goes from there. The reason like he likes the Olympics so much is because his dad was actually a wrestler back with Mongolia back in the day. I think like free wrestling of some sort.
Freestyle, probably?
Yeah, so it's definitely freestyle, yeah. So he definitely has set goals throughout his career to kind of model his dad. One of it was to get 36 Yushos, which is, I think, like 3 years.
It was the equivalent of his dad's 6 national Mongolian wrestling tournament champions.
Exactly. 6 years.
Championships.
Yeah, 6 years of just kind of championship. And so that got him to 36. And then after that, it kind of seemed like he's kind of trying to figure out what else like he wants to do. And the Olympics was kind of the one big thing. And after that, I don't know. It obviously gets harder and harder because like all the injuries are starting to pack up.
Yeah, he's definitely a guy who is driven by competition, obviously. And not a revelation by any means, but like he's a guy that is driven by the competition and the goals that he sets for himself. I don't know what his next goal will be, but if he doesn't really have any after being the best in the world ever several times over, that he may just, hang it up.
It has to be training the next generation of top-notch sumo wrestlers. I mean, he has his Japanese citizenship, so the Oyakata, imagine Hakuho Oyakata coming through. Do you know how amazing that stable is going to be? How badass those wrestlers are?
If they let Hakuho keep his name, which he is eligible to do because he has enough wins, but it's all about if like the Sumo Association says that he has.
Are they going to be
there's
dicks
some
or not?
politics there.
Yeah, there's some politics on whether he will be Hakuho Oyakata or if he'll have to take it on an elder name. But
Either way, it's still him.
Hakuho has clearly shown he wants to become a coach. He wants to become an Oyakata. He wants to raise the next generation of sumo wrestlers. We can see that with him taking Ishiura under his wing, Enho under his wing. He's got a couple other guys down in the lower ranks that he's brought on as his deshi to kind of plan to, once he creates his own stable, take them with him away from the Miyagino stable, which they are currently a part of.
I get the impression that a lot of the day-to-day coaching is probably from Hakuho for that.
I believe that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like in classic Hakuho fashion, he is also upped the degree of difficulty for himself by having the 2 shortest guys in the top division as his proteges.
But look how well they're doing. They're still in the top division.
No, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah, I do think he is looking to the future, though. I think that is kind of very evident by getting that Japanese citizenship. He's been kind of talking about taking on deshis and what he's going to do after. I think he's going to be the biggest determining factor is going to be injuries because he's going to be looking to life after. Do I really want like a super bum knee or a kind of bum knee, kind of stuff like that? And so like he's anything where it kind of gets serious, he's going to just say, nope, it's not worth it. I'm out.
All right. So despite having Hakuho directly saying that he's going to retire this year, I don't necessarily believe him. So do all of you guys think that Hakuho is actually going to retire this year, or if leading up to the Tokyo Olympics he rattles off 3 straight Yusho, do you think he sticks with it?
I think he's going to
Retire.
I think he'll stay with it if he's winning. I think if he is able to perform and win 4 of them this year, maybe, that he would probably just keep going for that fairly attainable for Hakuho 50 Yushos.
Yeah. And so we'll finish our talk about Hakuho with my original intended talking point about Hakuho. You guys think he's going to complete this tournament?
Yeah.
Like I said, he hasn't completed back-to-back tournaments since 2017.
50-50?
Yeah. I think if he's feeling good, he'll go for it. I forget what was the news about him. Has he been?
There's no real news about him. He's been training.
Been training.
Yeah. There's no sign that he has another injury or like a lingering injury that's bothering him. All signs point to him at least starting the tournament.
I think the last article I saw was he went, was it 14-0 against
Yeah,
Daisho?
there was a Yokozuna training session they have every other basho when they're in
Soken.
Tokyo, the Soken, where the top-ranked guys all compete. And Kakuryu competed there. Hakuho competed there. We know Takakeisho competed there. I didn't see anything about Goedo or Takayasu competing there. I haven't seen a complete report about that, but those are just the 3 guys that I heard about.
Yeah, I think Hakuho is going to compete. I think he's
Complete.
going complete and compete.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't exactly agree with the whole kind of he's purposely doing every other basho kind of thing.
I don't think he is. It's
No.
just
Oh,
a
it's
trend.
just, I mean, it's a trend if he can't stay healthy for 4 months in a row.
So yeah. So I think if he is healthy, he's going to compete.
All right, let's talk about the other Yokozuna, which is probably like Kakuryu's official title at this point. The other Yokozuna.
The other Yokozuna.
Kakuroach. I'm going to make it stick.
Cockroach.
So
We can put that on lunchboxes.
Flair, get your merch.
Think of the branding.
So Kakuryu missed the entirety of the Kyushu Basho. It sounds like real last minute he had an injury that kind of snuck up on him that forced him out of the tournament. Haven't really heard a whole lot of news about him except for that he competed at the Yokozuna Deliberation Council Soken, where he did really well. So what are our expectations for the other Yokozuna in this tournament?
I'm going to borrow Flarrick's line. I think if he's healthy, he's going to compete.
Yeah.
I think he sees Hakuho's trend of not competing back-to-back and completing back-to-back, so I think he's going to pounce on this.
You think he's going to start a every other cycle with Hakuho, where Hakuho is in one basho, then Hakuho's out, and then Kakuryu's in that one, then Kakuryu's out.
Perfectly in phase with,
Yes.
or perfectly out of phase with each
Yes,
other.
it would be perfect. I think he's smart enough to realize this.
Yeah, I bet he probably does feel some pressure if one Yokozuna is down that he probably should step up and be the one to do the Dohyo Iri, because that's really cool to see every single day, right?
Oh, yeah.
I bet all the fans love to see that. So I for this specific one, if he's healthy, I think he'll step in.
We could save like 15 to 20 minutes every preview.
I'm just going to cut that out in editing. Cut that soundbite out, and we'll just have a button that's like, if he's healthy, he's going to compete.
Yeah.
All right, so
But beyond the crap talking that we're giving you, Flarrick.
So with a presumably healthy Hakuho, healthy Takakeisho, healthy up-and-comer like Daisho, as Jake alluded to earlier, do we think Kakuryu if he's healthy and competing, do we think he's competing at a Yusho level?
First off, how dare you insinuate I was talking about Daisho? And
Sorry,
second of
Hokuno
all,
Fuji.
and second off, I forgot your question.
If Kakuryu is healthy, if he's competing, is he competing for the Yusho, or is he going to be doing one of his things where, hey, I'm going to start off 9-1, 10-0, and then lose all of my last 5 matches?
He does have that habit.
I think it's him, Takakeisho, Hakuho. If they're healthy, assuming all of them can compete in the Yusho race.
Whoa. Where's Asanoyama fit in that mix?
He's in there too. We haven't talked about him yet, though.
I still think he's worth talking.
Oh, we can get to that, but
he's next on the outline.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, so
You can scroll down, Mac. Yeah.
Oh, is that what I can do? Oh,
but
We
yeah,
go
it's-
by rank usually.
But yeah, I seriously do think the rank is actually the current ranking is actually pretty good. If all of them are healthy, all of them have a shot. But I give the favorite to Hakuho. Second is probably Kakuryu, and then
Daisho, yep.
and then Daisho is all the way at the bottom.
I'm going to make Daisho a thing. Daisho is going to be
You would be the first.
he is going to be the official mascot for this podcast after this episode.
Yes.
We stand Daisho now.
Good Lord. That's a really good point, though, Flarrick. I think a lot of the top guys just happen to be in the order that we think they are talent-wise. I mean, Mitaki Yumi probably should be a little higher, but like for the most part, it's really pretty close.
Yeah.
Normally we have at least one guy who's over or underperforming dramatically.
Joke all we want. Daisho is where he should be based on his recent performances.
oh, absolutely.
So, Mac, we will make you happy. We will cut our Kakuryu conversation short. I know we all had so much more to say about Kakuryu.
But Mac wants to
But
move
Mac
on.
wants to talk about Asanoyama.
Well, of course, he's the anime pro tag, along with Abi.
It's
shared
true. There's a lot of
protag.
buzz.
All
that He's
right.
the new protagonist.
There's a lot of buzz among the 3 people I talked to Sumo about the most.
Yeah, as far as Flarrick knows, Asanoyama as the anime pro tag is the hot button item everybody's talking about because we're the only ones he talks to about this.
Oh, clearly.
So, Mac, Asanoyama, he is at Sekiwake, his career debut at the Sekiwake rank, a career high rank for him.
So excited.
Coming off of back-to-back double-digit winning tournaments, what are your expectations for the young up-and-comer Asanoyama?
I think if he's healthy, he's going
I
to do
will
well.
end you. If anybody says that on the rest of this podcast, you're kicked out of my life and Jake's house. Yeah, I am taking ownership.
No, I think...
I do not want to trade, by the way.
Along with
I don't want your house.
The next time somebody says, look at Jake's wall and what does it say? I'm also booting that from the podcast.
Without the dead horses, though, what would we beat? What could we beat?
I mean, we'll find a new live horse that'll be hilarious for a basho, maybe two, and then run it for another year. I'm just taking those horses away. They're becoming meat. They're being ground into sausage. Hot dogs, probably. They're
You
gone now.
monster.
They're already dead, Mac. So
already
Asanoyama.
Yes. No, I am very much looking forward to this. I think that this is the start of his Ozeki run. So I am excited to see what he can do.
So let's talk about quote-unquote Ozeki runs. So Asanoyama, his previous two tournaments, he has gotten double-digit wins, both while in the Joy. At Maegashira 2, he went 10-5. At Komosubi, he went 11-4. Talking to the Bansuke committee or whoever gets promoted to Ozeki, I think it's the Bansuke people, they have said that he is not on an official Ozeki run. So that makes me think that if he gets 11 to 12 wins this time, that will not be enough for an Ozeki promotion based on the fact that one of his 10-win tournaments came while he was outside of the Sanyaku ranks. However, I do believe if he gets like a 15-0 or 14-1 Yusho, they'll probably give him the
I was about to
Ozeki promotion.
say.
I know this doesn't really translate well to an audio medium, but I would like the record to show that I'm rolling my eyes and doing a sarcastic jerk-off motion. Because, like, oh my God, he is, like, performing as good as anybody right now.
Right?
12 wins would put him at 33. Is that right?
11 plus 10 plus 12, yes.
Yeah, so 12 wins would put him at 33. I guess what they're saying is he'll probably need to go a little bit better than that.
Typically, they want you to have your full Ozeki run be in the Sanyaku ranks.
Yeah.
Tochinoshin was an exception. He was at Maegashira 3 with a 14-1 Yusho,
Right.
which is a very impressive tournament. And so that was kind of the exception that proves the rule for the whole Ozeki run thing.
I guess what I'm saying is I think 12 wins, if it puts him at 34, especially if that comes with a June show or a special prize or something, I think that's obviously got to be it.
Yeah, if he gets a Gene show with it, I think it would be tough to kind of say no to that.
I think it'll be fairly easy for them based on the fact that they did that exact same thing to Takakeisho just last year, who he had...
Well, he only
Did
got
he have
exactly 33, right?
He had exactly 33, but it was
have-
all within the Sanyaku ranks. It was 2 at Komosubi and then 1 at Sekiwake.
Was it 2 Gene shows as well?
I think it was. It had a Yusho in there and then also a Jun Yusho.
a Yusho.
Yeah, it was like a Yusho, Iffy one, and then a Jun Yusho or
Right,
something.
right.
Is that
Something,
what it was?
I don't remember the exact details, but I do remember Takakeisho got the Ozeki promotion one basho after everybody thought it should happen.
Yep.
So I think if Asanoyama gets 11, 12 wins, it's going to be the same exact thing. He's going to get as long as he performs well in the Haru basho, he's going to get that Ozeki promotion one after probably the rest of us think he should. I'm actually okay with them delaying it, putting it off so that his entire Ozeki run would be in the Sanyaku ranks.
Yeah, I think you make a good point. I think you actually might have swayed me there. The fact that it was with Takakeisho that they went that route with the Yusho and the Jun Yusho at the same time makes me think that they probably will hold off. And also the fact that he's actually very young in his career, kind of similar to Takakeisho.
Asanoyama is 25. I believe Takakeisho is 23 now.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So with Tochinoshin, he was actually over 30, and so kind of waiting another basho to get the Ozeki promotion. It could, I don't know, it's kind of a little bit less likely he's going to have another chance because he's at kind of the twilight of his career. And so he was still did impressive and earned that rank. But I think with younger people, they're probably going to be willing to wait a little bit longer.
Fleric, I must interrupt you as the fifth member of this podcast, Sumo Database, is down.
I've noticed.
Has gone Kyujo. Which is why we don't click on anything ever now. We're just going to leave that screen up.
Yep.
But so I get what you're saying. So like with Tochinoshin, maybe they wouldn't have done it the same way. But Takakeisho and Asanoyama, as young guys that are proving themselves, wouldn't necessarily hurt to give them a little bit more time. I do think that I would go one win more optimistic than Ryan has written down. I think if Asanoyama gets to 34 wins out of these 3 Bashos, higher than the normal 33 kind of guideline that people aim for.
So a 13-2 record.
I think if he got 13, a 13 win would almost guarantee him a Junyu show.
especially in this climate, it
Definitely.
could easily be enough for a U show if Hakuho pulled out.
Right. So I think 13 wins, as long as it's got a Junyu show, and it obviously would come with a special prize or two.
Absolutely.
I think that would totally do it. But 12 wins, getting him at exactly 33,
Think it's borderline?
I think it's probably more likely a Takakeisho, Ueda Basho kind of situation.
So how do we think Asanoyama actually is going to perform?
16 wins.
Okay, so playoff win over Hakuho.
No, they just give him a bonus one because he does so good.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a playoff win over Hakuho if he was 15-0. I mean, they'd probably match make it so that he ended up facing the other 14-0 guy, even if it was like Kaisei at Maegashira 16.
Now there's an idea. But no, I think Asanoyama is very possibly my front runner going into the entire thing. Just what we've seen out of him, he's improved every basho, not necessarily by the numbers, but like his skill is continuing to climb, and he's becoming more and more of a lock to just crush it every single tournament.
Yeah, his style is very similar to our current Yokozuna too, of Kakuryu. And,
Grapple first.
Yeah, grapple first, less of just kind of pushing away, which historically has proven to be very sustainable and very good as you get up the ranks.
Asanoyama did recently go to the what's Kisei no Sato or Oraiso Oyakata and Takayasu's stable? Is that Taganoura?
I would tell you if the fifth member of this podcast would show up.
I can't remember off the top of my head what the stable is.
Whatever sounds right. Whatever
this,
it is.
Asanoyama went there recently, and he had some practice matches with Oraiso Oyakata.
Cool.
Actually, and it was double digits, and I believe he only won one of them. So
Okay.
it sounds like he got some very good teaching from Oraiso Oyakata there, and he's been going around to all the top guys to train with. Two bashos ago, he famously went to Miyagino stable to train with Hakuho.
That's right.
And Hakuho concussed him.
And that was like the one time after that concussion was like the one time that he had an iffy basho, right? He went,
No, I think he went 10-5 after that one.
Oh, never mind.
That might. I can't
Well, yeah,
remember if
that's
that
bad
was
for
when
you.
That's right.
I can't remember if that's when he went 7-8 or if
slap
that's
some
when he went
sense into you.
10-5.
Thank you, Hakuho.
But I do like how he's going around to all these different stables to get the training. I think that's going to help him out. It sounds like he said, yeah, I kept doing this one thing, and Oraiso Oyakata was able to take advantage of it. I've got to fix that. So he seems like he's going around, he's learning. That being said, I don't think he's going to get Yusho or really be in Yusho contention this time. I think 10-11 wins. I think enough to keep his Ozeki dreams alive for early 2020, but I don't quite think he's going to make it to the Yusho race quite this time.
There you go. You think Hakuho, Kakuryu, and Takakeisho will best him?
I think Hakuho is obviously the favorite while he is here, and then probably Takakeisho. Kakuryu you can't count out, and then probably a random Maegashira.
You can't count the random Daisho.
No, he's a Komosubi now.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah, he won't. Here's one reason that I do think Asanoyama will be in it. In the race, I mean, for the win. He's a Sekewake, and the top ranked guys don't necessarily face each other until later in the tournament.
Right.
And I think the later in the tournament his potential Hakuho Kakuryu matchups are, the more likely that those guys won't be there to fight.
Yeah, and there are fewer Sanyaku guys this tournament than there have been in the past, as there's only 2 Yokozuna, 2 Ozeki, 2 Sekiwake, 2 Komosubi.
And to be fair, it's the same guys.
Yeah,
They're
it's
just
the same
titled
it's the
different.
same guys, but there's less of them. Like last time we had 11 people in Sanyaku ranks. But yeah, technically that kind of makes my whole point moot because Endo, Hokuto Fuji, Mitake Yumi, they're all still there. They're all still going to be facing those guys. They're just not labeled Sanyaku anymore. So
They're just peeved because their label's different.
yeah,
Exactly.
I will rescind that point.
I think that he's going to face guys early on that he has proven to be as good as or better than. And then later, his potential trouble matchups, the 2 Yokozuna, the 2 Ozeki, those will be late. And out of those 4 guys.
He has Goeido's number, so I wouldn't say that's in trouble.
Okay, out of those 3 guys, Taka Keisho and the 2 Yokozuna, I would be shocked if all 3 of them were in there mid-second week when Asanoyama's facing them.
Unfortunately, that is probably correct.
I'm not saying I want it to be the case, but that's what I'm expecting.
I'm expecting 10 wins minimum. I would say 13 max.
Fair enough.
Flarek?
I expect him to be in the Yusha race, and depending how it kind of goes down, we'll kind of see how it goes.
All right, dang it. I trying to get off. I was doing pretty good with saying all right, with not saying that for transitions, and then I've kind of gone lax on that. I wanted to focus on that, but
Just accept it. Continue.
I mean,
Well,
I have to at
whoopsie
this
doodle.
point.
Our next topic is the Komusubi.
Whoopsie doo, here we go. Komosubis. We have Abi for the 4th straight basho at Komusubi 1 East.
Yay.
And we actually
wow.
got a fun fact hot off the presses from friend of the podcast, Wata.
A nice steaming hot fun fact, my favorite.
Yeah. So Wata informs us that Abi has been Komusubi 4 times in a row now. 8 Rikishi have accomplished this before him, and only 2 have managed to go 5 in a row at the Komusubi rank. And it's actually kind of hard to stay at the Komusubi rank this long in a row, because typically, if you have a winning record, you're going to jump up to Sekiwake, because there's only 2 Komusubi. And then if you do bad, you're going to drop down to Maegashira. So it's kind of impressive and hard to stay at this rank.
it's like
for so
staying
long.
at Megashira 4 or something, like any of those ranks.
So only 2 Rikishi have ever managed to stay at the Komusubi rank 5 basho in a row, Tosa Naomi and Koto Mitsuki. Neither of them broke that streak by moving up to Sekiwake. Instead, both moved down to Maegashira.
Abi, no.
I was going to say, don't do it, Abby. Don't do it.
We all know that you can't fool Data. He can't. The trend exists.
That's only if he makes it to a 5th straight basho.
Oh, okay.
He's only at 4 now, so he could make it up to Sekiwake next
So
time.
he's destined to stay at Komusubi.
But if
Forever.
he does
Yes,
well,
yes.
if he does well again, he is doomed.
Yes. Well,
Perfect. Makes
actually,
perfect sense.
Actually,
the
he'll set
stats
another record.
show that both of those guys, Tosa Naomi and Koto Mitsuki, both made it to Sekiwake at other points in their career, and Koto Mitsuki was even a Nozeki at one point.
Ooh. So, future Ozeki Abi?
Not ready to say that yet.
But I am ready to say that.
Thank you, Flarek. Join me.
Ozeki Abi.
Thank you. Oh, I love
Please,
hearing it. I
please
love
nose
hearing
me.
it.
There's probably another Komusubi, but should we just move on?
Nah.
We've honestly probably talked about Daisho enough at this point.
More than probably any episode of this podcast.
Yeah. He's at his career high. He's coming off an 8-7 record where he got the lone win over Hakuho in the previous basho. Which
And we got our data back.
hey, Sumo Database is back.
Our 5th member.
He got a Shuken outstanding performance special prize in the previous basho, and he's had a pretty steady streak of having like 8-7, 7-8 records while in the Joy. So, I mean, I think we're probably expecting an 8-7 or 7-8 out of Daisho at Komusubi
That's a
this
fair
time.
bet. I'd say that's a fair bet.
Yeah, it has been a full year since he had anything different than that. And that was 2 9-6s. Before that, he had an 8-7.
Yeah, very steady.
But yeah, a straight year where he has been Megashira 2 to Megashira 3 to Megashira 1, just hovering right in there with the 1 win over or under 50%.
And he actually has a Kimboshi in back-to-back tournaments, so he's shown that he can beat Kakuryu and Hakuho.
Is he learning from Hokuto Fuji, the Kinboshi machine?
No, he made a vital mistake by getting into the Sanyaku ranks where he can't get a Kimboshi. See, he might pull the Hokuto Fuji here, get the 7-8 record, drop down to Maegashira. That way you can get more Kimboshi, which is what Hokuto Fuji has done the past 2 times he's been ranked Komusubi. Get that 7-8 record, you drop out of the Komusubi ranks down to Maegashira, but not far enough where you're far enough away from the Yokozuna to not face them. So Hokuto Fuji is in prime position here to rack up those Kimboshi numbers, of which I believe he already has 6 in his career.
I was about
That's
to say,
the-
I know he's got a lot.
That
That's
is
definitely the
absurd
big brain move right
Correct.
and accurate. Yep, there we go. Good, loaded. So yeah, he's at Megashira 2. Hokuto Fuji's probably primed for 2 more potential matches here.
there. Ooh,
Well,
nice
yeah, so
segue,
there
by
he
the way.
was Magashira 1 got a 9-6 with the Kimboshi, got up to Komusubi 2, then had a 7-8, like what Ryan was saying, and now he's back down in prime range to go against the Yokozuna.
I wasn't sure which time you were talking about because it's almost the exact same situation both times.
Every time.
Well, and Hokuto Fuji is even more consistent than Daisho has been over the past 2 years. Dating back to Aki of 2018, he has 2 records that he gets. He either gets 9-6 or 7-8. His records for the past, what is that? 10, 9 Basho, 9-6, 7-8, 9-6, 7-8, 7-8, 9-6, 9-6, 7-8.
0-0.
Well, yeah, he hasn't competed yet.
He hasn't wrestled yet this Basho?
No, he hasn't.
Okay.
So yeah, that's how much we love Daisho. Is we started talking about Hokuto Fuji,
Wait, who did we start on?
Okay, let's just move on. Let's just move on.
new mascot of the podcast, Daisho, our favorite.
God, watch him like turn into something here.
Oh, God.
Yeah, and
No,
we
it would
will be.
our words.
There's no worry. It's not.
No,
gonna
I
happen.
know. I just yeah, whatever. But he is only
Go see how old he is.
He's 26.
So he's younger than Asanoyama.
He's got some time. He's been wrestling for a long time. He basically got into it, looks like 18-ish. So he started young and has taken his time and is finally blossoming like the young flower that he is.
Like we all knew he would turn
We
into be.
all expected.
We've been hyping up Daisho the entire time we've been doing this podcast. All of our
This
longtime
specific
listeners
episode
know.
of this podcast.
All of our longtime listeners know how long we've been fans of Komusubi Daisho.
Oh shoot, you're right.
This is the season 8 of Game of Thrones. We've been building to this for years.
No.
I was about to say Avengers Endgame, but I felt like the Game of Thrones analogy works way better.
I mean, yeah, it'll probably end up being more accurate. So let's talk about some other Rikishi outside of the Sanyaku ranks, starting with Mitaka Yumi, who is outside of the Sanyaku ranks for the first time in this podcast history, down at Maegashira 2
What?
West, dropping from Sekiwake after a 6-9 record,
He has him right where he wants him.
which is where.
He realized he can't make Ozeki, so he's going to drop down for that Kinboshi bling bling.
Yep.
He's learning from Hokuto Fuji the way
Getting
to
that
rack
cash
up
money.
the prize. Yeah,
That's the
because
current
winning
meta.
U shows isn't getting him the cash money. Winning multiple U shows is not enough money for him.
To be fair, he is facing all the same guys that he
be
would at
fair.
Sekiwake.
I was about to say, yeah.
At Sekiwake. So if you are really, really good, you would probably rather be a Megashira for the money.
Right?
Well, I think you make more money when you're a Sanyaku, right?
I think so too. But
I don't think the Kiboshi
but
make
hold on,
big
Flair
money.
got something.
Okay. So, second week Mitakayumi, not that great, right?
Yeah.
So all of the hard matches in first week from Make Sure 2. Yeah, you see what I'm talking about? You show guaranteed.
He's playing 6D checkers right
Yeah.
now for sure.
Wow.
There was something that I did a very small amount of research, and it didn't really amount to a whole lot, but it is a slight
Give it to
trend.
me. Give it to me.
So Mitaka Yumi, Jake, go over to Mitaka Yumi's page on Sumo Database. So he had mentioned before the Kyushu Basho that he doesn't really do good during the cold months. So I just kind of wanted to see how he has done in like Kyushu, Hatsu, and Haru versus how he does in Natsu, Nagoya, and Aki.
Oh, looking
And-
at this, there appears to be no pattern.
There is a slight pattern.
Okay, leaning which way?
So
That's harsh, Jake. I
If we
like it.
just if we look at last year, Nagoya, Aki, and Natsu, 9 wins, 12 wins, and a U show. And then if we go back to the 3 Basho prior to that, when it's cold, Haru, Hatsu, and Kyushu, 7 wins, 8 wins, 7 wins. And then before that, if we go back to the Aki, Nagoya, Natsu of 2018, 9 wins, 13 wins, 9 wins with a U show in there. And then the 3 cold months, 7 wins, 8 wins, and a 9 win in there. But not as consistent or as good of a performance as he does in the summer months. Like I said, very slight.
So you
not-
think he's in hibernation?
Slightly, yes.
Yeah.
I do think he performs worse in the winter months than he does in the warmer months. So I'm not expecting anything more than 8 wins from Mitaka Yumi this Basho, based solely on the fact that it's in January.
That's fascinating watching someone cherry pick so brutally in live action in
I
person.
mean, he had over the past 2 years, he has more wins during the summer months than he does during the winter months.
Yeah, and that
you cannot deny that fact.
January
pattern.
17, he got 11 wins, 2 Kinboshi, and a special prize.
That's
Like,
before he realized how cool it was to be better in the summer.
Change it
I think we're
Yeah, this is
ignoring
dumb.
my thought of first week Mitaki Yumi getting all his hard matches out of the way.
Yeah,
I'm just saying
I
it
think
doesn't
there's some
matter.
wheels.
It's cold. He's not going to do that well.
I'm buying Flarex and selling yours.
All right,
All
let's
right,
go.
we'll see how he does. We'll keep an eye on the cold months versus
God, I
summer
swear
months
to God,
trend.
if he gets this right, Ryan will never shut up about this.
Even if I get it wrong, I'll still claim I'm right and never shut up about it.
That's true.
Yeah.
All right, we
Best
mentioned
accepted
him
now.
briefly in passing, but our good friend, former Ozeki Tochinoshin, has fallen from grace. He is out of the Sanyaku ranks with no chance of immediate repromotion to Ozeki. He's got to do it the hard way. He is at Maegashira 6 on the west side, so he's not even in the Joy anymore.
Oh man.
What are our expectations for Tochinoshin in the Hatsu Basho? Besides tossing Enho completely over his shoulder
Into space.
into at least the second tier of bleachers.
Okay, I think I suddenly know what my most excited thing for this Basho is. He's
ready.
I want to see a Tochinoshin Enho matchup. That's gonna be fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Enho is going to like almost trip him like 11 times. He's going to go all the way. He might touch the crowd and still come back into the ring. And then Tochinoshin is just going to like overarm basketball huck him full court like out the door.
I don't think you've actually been watching Tochinoshin over the past few months. If Enho almost trips Tochinoshin, he's tripping Tochinoshin. Tochinoshin's going down.
Yeah. He's not the most limber or of
Yeah.
Richie.
I hope that there. God, I would love to see this match 2 times. One where Tochinoshin is healthy and does like fully lob him several stories high.
Just hefts him over his shoulder and be like, all right, you, we're done.
I
Yeah.
want to see him ball him up like a basketball and just shoot him like that.
Dribble him like Space Jam style.
That's what I was thinking of Space Jam.
And then like stretch dunk him into the next town over or something.
But no, in all seriousness, I would actually give Enho the edge on that one.
Yeah, given what we've seen and health wise, yeah.
I think it depends how Tochinoshin takes the match. Like if he does a kind of more reactive style, I think he has it, but we'll see. Yeah.
If
Yeah.
he's healthy.
You're on the podcast.
He used it.
It had been long enough that it was funny again.
But
I will grant myself an exemption.
But regardless of that, overall expectations is kind of middle of the road, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
8 and 7, I would feel kind of right where I think he's at.
I wouldn't be surprised with 10 wins from Tochinoshin at this point. I also wouldn't be surprised with 5 wins from Tochinoshin.
I was about to say, like, it could
actually,
go either
I
way.
would be surprised with 5 wins at Tochinoshin. I think probably 7 and 8 is his floor for this tournament, but I
Yeah.
don't think his ceiling is too much higher than that. I think probably 10, 11 win ceiling, just based on going up against worse competition this go around than a full Sanyaku slate.
I'm super skeptical here. I think that the injuries that we have been predicting would end him and slowly tear him to shreds. I think it's happening. Yeah,
Oh, definitely.
I think it's happening too much. I guess I would agree with you. I would not be shocked if he pulled out like 10 wins or so, like had one or two last hurrahs. But I think every Basho he has gotten a new injury for 2 years now, give or take.
Probably going
it's
to Koto Shogaku his way down the Bansuke.
probably
Hey, Koto
faster, I
Shogaku
think.
held his rank for not the Ozeki rank, but actually held his position in the mid Magashira ranks for quite a while.
Yeah, and he's still kind of there. I mean, you could call him
He's
lower
trickled
now,
down
but
to Maegashira 13, which I think is probably the lowest he's been in a little while.
yeah, I think Tochinoshin though, he might have a 1 or 2 left in him, but I guess my prediction would be it's time that the injuries are taking their toll, and I think that unlike Koto Shogaku, it is specific injuries that we know of that are causing him huge amounts of trouble. Koto Shogaku, yeah, he's got wear and tear on him, but like he's not blowing out a knee and missing a tournament, or like cracking his ribs and pulling out, things like that. And I think Tochinoshin's durability is probably at its end.
Yeah. I'll be curious how he matches up with the skill range, because I
for
still
sure.
think where he's at right now is probably at least at par, if not a little bit above.
Skill wise, he should, if he was fully healthy, I would expect like 12 or 13 wins, at this range, just out of the Joy.
But I think Ryan made a great point, like the floor at 7 and 8. So that's kind of what I see too. Like I don't see much less than that.
I agree with Flerick. I made a great point.
For me, it's I don't expect him to. I would be. Like I said, I wouldn't be shocked if he got 10 wins, but I would be. I do think it's more likely that in my opinion, I think it's more likely that he might not even finish this tournament.
Oh wow.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think it's been so brutal to watch.
Let's move on to an interesting thing that happened just a few days ago at the Miyagino stable, where Hakuho had to intervene in a fight between Ishiura and Makushita 16 wrestler Hokaho. I don't like saying that.
Okay.
One more time.
Hokaho.
Okay. Is
Hokaho.
he like a big fan of Hakuho or something?
I doubt it. It's probably the naming convention of the stable. Or he might have.
He's probably a big fan of Hakuho.
I mean, he's probably a pretty big fan
Clearly.
of Hakuho.
Anyway, continue.
So yeah, it started with Ishiura kicking Hokaho in the knee after Hokaho Yorikiri'd him. And
Wait, what?
yeah,
So hang on.
Ishiura kicked Hokaho in the knee
Because he was beaten.
because he was beaten. And in the next bout, it was Ishiura's Yori Taoshi, but he punched at Hokaho, to which Hokaho answered in kind. So they punched each other after Ishiura beat Hokaho. Miyagino Oekada shouted at them to stop, which they did. But in the next bout, Hokaho again defeated Ishiura by Yorikiri, and Ishiura again punched him. And then the fist fight started, at which point Hakuho stepped in, telling them to cut it out and that practice was over. I like that Hakuho said, "Hey guys, practice is over," when the coach was just over there like, "Dude, stop." And then Hakuho steps in and is like, "No, but seriously, listen to me. Stop."
He is the Yokozuna. Yeah.
Hakuho was probably like, "Whoa, dude, stop it. People are going to misinterpret this headline and read it as my name. So please stop."
Hakuho fights with his
Okay,
deshi.
so-
And there are actually photos of Hakuho stepping in to break it apart. I think he's probably learned from some past incidents to make very sure that Hakuho is on the right side of this and breaking up the fighting and not encouraging it or participating in it whatsoever.
But
Did he
still,
have like a smile and like a thumbs up at the same time, looking at the camera?
but still, what the hell, Ishiura?
It's a frame job.
Yeah.
I know where you're coming from, where he started a fight because he
lost.
was losing to a lower ranked Rikshi.
I will say we don't know the exact context of this.
Oh,
whether
there
or
had
not-
to be more.
There had to be
It's
more,
not the
just-
first time somebody's beat Ishiura in
It
training.
might not just be a fight. It's probably a bunch of things that stacked up.
Lost
that goes
the
along
cards?
with it. I
Gambling debts?
just want to kind of add that point. We don't exactly know the full context.
Yeah, for
behind
sure.
This.
Yeah, and this report or this incident was reported to the Japan Sumo Association, who were on vacation at the time due to New Year's. They did get word back from a couple of members there where it doesn't sound like there's going to be any discipline handed down, as this was just kind of like a heated battle in the midst of practice, just kind of tempers flared a little bit and it got out of hand. It wasn't like a hazing incident. So it sounds like, based on those two guys, that might not be any discipline or severe discipline incoming for this, as opposed to like Takagenji hitting Hitsuke Bito because Hitsuke Bito wasn't doing what he wanted him to do and serving him correctly or whatever, where he got punished. So what are your guys' thought on if they should get punished, or is this just something that we should let go?
I don't know if we should let it go, but I do agree. You
Did
made
you
a New Year's
really?
resolution.
Why?
I am so
Why?
sorry. I promise I will never sing again on this
You
podcast.
made a promise
I
on the
did.
air
I did.
that you would stop singing on this show.
Does that mean all of my other resolutions are I can't be trusted, so I just can ignore
That's
the
not how
rest
that
of my
works.
resolutions?
Not how the resolutions work, dude.
I was never gonna like stop hating Goedo, so we all knew that wasn't gonna happen.
Yeah, that one was kind of unfair for you to claim.
Yeah.
I don't think it's something that should be let go, but I do think that it is good that it is noted in the reports that it is a different type of thing than hazing. It is very clearly a different type of violence, but that doesn't mean that it's okay. I think in this context, I don't know exactly what the punishment should be, but I do think that it should be something because it does make sumo look bad as a whole on some level.
And that's
maybe not
why-
severely, but like, not as bad as somebody getting their head busted open and a Yokozuna retiring, anything like that. But it doesn't make sumo look good. And that is something that the Sumo Association usually takes into account. And I think that the fact just that this got out means that there should probably be some punishment of some sort, some slap on the wrist. We can't let these keep happening.
See, I think that's why I'm so angry about that, is because Ishiura has been a mainstay for so long. He's done well. He's bounced up and down. And the fact that he has lost to a Makushita 16 guy. I mean, yeah, that sucks, but you're not supposed to lose to a Makushita 16 guy. I understand why he's angry, but come on, dude, keep it under control. You are one of the best ranked wrestlers in the world. Come on.
So Hokaho is actually Ishiura's Anideshi, as he is older than Ishiura and has been in the Miyagino stable longer than Ishiura. So that's something that I read as a little bit of reasoning why kind of Hokaho kind of still instigated a little bit of this and wasn't completely deferential to Ishiura, is he's been around longer than Ishiura and is still kind of has a little bit of rank over him as he's been with the stable longer.
Yeah, there's probably a little that. There's definitely a very big age seniority that happens a lot in Asian cultures of where you kind of are respectful to the people older than you.
Yeah, so there's probably some sort of power struggle for somebody who's higher ranked but younger than you.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
My take on this is, if there is a punishment, I think it should be just as like a slap on the wrist. It should be some sort of fine or anything like that. I don't think you need to take any time, suspend them, or anything like that, because basically this was a fight in a football practice, which happens all the time. Just tempers flare. You're training with the same people over and over and over again.
Yep.
You get tired. You want to hit somebody else. Tempers flared. It got handled in there. Nobody was seriously hurt. Slap them on the wrist and then move on. I really don't think this is a big deal at all.
But it should be more than 0.
Oh, absolutely.
I think.
Yeah, I would assume in those football fights, maybe sometimes those guys get fined. I really don't know what happens. Yeah, fine them. Try to discourage it from happening all the time, because it could grow into something more if you kind of don't discourage it at all, where something serious does happen. This time, nothing bad happened. It wasn't like a history of abuse or anything like that. It was just tempers flared. They got into it a little bit, intervened, nothing happened.
Yeah.
Let it go.
The problem is that, sumo has this reputation that it has earned, to be fair, for violence. And, you gotta just, it sounds very shrewd and like PR professional BS, but like the fact that it got out and that there's footage of it and that these journalists saw it and things like that, unfortunately, I do think that means that you have to treat it more seriously than if it was just a fight that nobody ever knew about.
We'll see in the coming days.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Flair.
I was going to I do think it's hopeful, once again, that the reporting system seemed to work. Something happened. Granted, the reporter saw it, so it was going to get out regardless.
Right.
But like once again, something happened. It was reported to the I guess committee, so that they were aware of it and that there were some consequences for when this happens, which I think is great precedence going forward.
Yeah. I got one last point I wanted to make on this. Chris Gould put out a video which did a great summary of what happened, and I think it was a pretty solid video, pretty solid take on things. I do have one bone to pick with him, though. Towards the end of the video, he mentioned that Ishiura also trains Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and noted that makes this whole incident look worse, and I strongly disagree with that. I think that is generalizing another sport the way a lot of people unfairly generalize sumo. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, yes, it's part of, a brutal sport like MMA or
combat sports.
Yeah, combat sports in general. But I do have a bit of a bone to pick with him about generalizing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu the way that I'm sure he would complain about people generalizing sumo as violent and brutal.
Was he saying that because
he was just saying it kind of gave bad
made
optics,
him more likely to fight?
No, but
or?
he brought it up as something that gave it worse optics, and I think that's
a bit of a stretch.
I hate it just because it comes from somebody who knows that his own sport, Chris Gould's sport that he follows, gets that unfair rap too, and that just kind of made it stick out to me a little bit.
I agree. That's a bad take.
Yeah. Well, Flarek says it's a bad take, so Flarek's words.
Yeah. I'll make a YouTube video about it.
There, thank you.
Yeah.
We had received a Twitter question from @DeMoonRules, and we've actually already kind of talked about this a little bit. His thunder was taken away by Hakuho's kind of bombshell announcement that came out recently. But how many Yokozuna do you guys think we will have at the start of 2021? And let's keep this kind of short.
0.
2.
I'm thrown off by Max saying 0. I think 1.
And who is it?
Kakuryu.
Yeah, I'm with Jake. 1, Kakuryu. Flarick, you said 2.
Yeah.
You think Hakuho's still kicking
think
around, or do you think somebody got promoted?
Haku is gone. Someone new comes up.
Ooh, who is it?
I don't know, but probably I'll be at this point.
I mean, it's a whole year. We get at least
you
one Yokozuna new every year, right?
Exactly.
You
yeah.
mispronounced Daisho there. I'm sorry.
You're right. I forgot we switched.
So, Mac, you think both guys will retire and nobody will be promoted in 6 Bashos?
Right, you are, Jake.
I honestly don't see anybody being promoted until minimum 2021.
Okay. Do you think that both current guys are going to stick around?
I think Hakuho's gone. Kakuryu is still kicking it around.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's been proven by Kakuryu and Kisano Sato that you can just kind of
cockroach.
dick around for a full year.
Yeah.
If you don't want to retire, you kind of just don't have to.
Yeah. Let's move on and talk about somebody who is making his Makuuchi debut, and that is Kiri Bayama. He is going to be Maegashira 17 East. He is 23 years old, and this will be his 28th Basho. He shot straight up to Makushita in his 4th Basho ever, winning a Sandan Meiyusho along the way, and then he was stuck at Makushita for about 3 years until finally making it up to Juryo at the beginning of 2019. He had a steady rise through Juryo until getting that 11-4 record in the Kyushu Basho, which secured him his promotion to Makuuchi for Hatsu 2020. He also got a huge asset in the previous Basho, as he now has a Yokozuna in his Heya after Kakuryu joined the Michinoku Beya prior to the Kyushu Basho after his former Beya Izutsu closed due to the death of their Oyakata.
Yeah. That's actually, it's probably no small thing that his performance kind of jumped like after that.
He's credited Kakuryu already for being a huge help for him in the previous Basho.
Yeah.
And being just like a motivation for him there. It sounds like Kakuryu is doing really well with Kiribayama and is kind of thriving in a teacher's role with some younger guys that are in the salaried ranks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I just think that's kind of amazing to hear. And so I am actually more hopeful kind of knowing that about this guy.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to what Kiribayama has in store and see if he can learn any tricks from Kakuryu.
Yeah, I put together his Namiyama stats. This is our program to compare how does Kiribayama's style compared to the average Rikshi over the last year. So just a couple examples here. At first glance, he seems kind of meat and potatoes, Yorikiri and Oshidashi being his top 2 favorite Kimurite. No big surprise there. But the proportion of them is kind of surprising and encouraging, I think. He uses Yorikiri about 25% more often than average, and Oshidashi about 44% less often than average. That means he is much more grappling focused than pushing focus, something we already today have talked about being a promising sign. Interestingly, after that, most of his other most common Kimurite are throwing moves. So he uses Shitate Nage a full 9% of the time. That's like 7 times more often than normal. Uwate Dashinage, also about 3 times as often as normal. All sorts of throws. And his losses also are awfully similar in proportion. He loses by Yorikiri about as often as most people do. He loses by Oshidashi less often than most people do. But again, that's just because he doesn't like to be in pushing matches. They don't happen as often with him in it. Mm-hmm. But the last thing I noticed on here that was kind of funny, for some bizarre reason, he is prone to both winning and losing by Okuri Dashi, which is pushing out from the rear.
Oh,
for some reason,
That's an interesting stat.
yeah, about 2.5 times as often as normal, he wins by that move, and about 4.5 times as often as normal, he loses by that method. I do not know what's going on there.
That's so bizarre.
It is very bizarre. So yeah, like a combined maybe almost 10% of his matches turn into an Okuri Dashi.
Wow.
Very strange. Look for him to get spun around inexplicably or do the same to the other guy.
It must be that Tawara ballet. That has to be what it is.
Anyways,
Do you think Kakuryu is just doing ballet lessons? in the
Plie.
that's an anime I want to watch. But no, Kiribayama, promising style, very young, could be a fun guy to watch.
Yeah. We'll see how he does in the Kyushu Basho. Let's take a look at a couple of Juryo storylines. We're not going to talk about these too much. Tomokaze, unfortunately, a guy that we thought was kind of very promising, was looking very good until his devastating knee injury that he got in the Kyushu Basho. He did drop all the way from Maegashira 3 to the Juryo ranks.
Wow.
And we are still very unlikely to see him anytime soon after that injury.
Yeah, that's like a year-long kind of thing,
I think
right?
the early reports were like, yeah, you're not going to see him for like a year. Taro no Fuji is back in the salaried ranks for the first time since May of 2018.
It's like he never left.
Or he left for almost 2 years.
It is more like
One of
that.
those
You're,
two.
You're correct.
one of
That's more,
those.
it's more like that.
He's at Juryo 13 after winning the Makushita Yusho from Makushita 10. Ichinojo is also down in Makushita this Basho after missing the entirety of the Kyushu Basho. Sounds like he's lost quite a bit of weight recently, and I do believe he is healthy and planning on competing in the Juryo Basho, so he's probably a pretty good, decent pick for the Juryo Yusho. And Hoshoryu, despite having a losing record, did do well enough to stick around in the Juryo rank. So he had a 7-8 record in his first Basho as a salaried Rikishi.
That's actually respectable. For
Yeah.
the first time in the Juryo, that's not bad.
That's not bad.
Dang
So
right.
hopefully we see a winning record out of Hoshoryu this time, and he can start climbing up that Juryo Bansuke. But if there's nothing else any of you guys want to talk about, is there any other Rikishi, Makuuchi Juryo you guys want to touch on before we head to break?
No, I'm just super happy Hoshoryu got a winning record and was able to stick around.
Losing record.
No, it was a losing.
He was able to get a losing record, but still able to stick
There it
around.
is.
We knew what you meant. I'm starting a little project trying to study some rates of injury, what kind of matches lead to that. But we'll cut that for time. I'll talk about that more on the midway, maybe.
There you go.
Yeah, sounds
Yeah,
good
let's
to
do
me.
that.
Good.
All right. Dang it.
You
All
did
right.
it again.
All right, Ryan.
We'll just cut that out. Thank you, Jake, for cutting that out.
I'm not going to do it.
We will see you after the break.
Thank you for listening to Grand Sumo Breakdown. This week's sponsor is Risotto Stone, the new language learning program specifically designed for sumo wrestlers. Our crack team of language experts has curated a list of words and phrases for the worldly Rikishi on the go. Count on Risotto Stone to help you in any situation, whether asking for more food in Paris, France, asking for more food in Lima, Peru, or asking for more food in Chicago. Anything is possible with Risotto Stone's scientifically acknowledged system. Out of food in Berlin? Use our German module.
Jetzt mehr essen! Schnell!
Or use our Spanish module to impress your local Taco Bell clerk.
Estoy hambriento. ¿Dónde está la biblioteca?
Or fit right in with the locals using our Australian dialect package to tell the waiter that you've had enough.
Oi, f*** off, you. Why don't you bring me another f***ing shrimp on your motherfucking barbie, you piece of sucking wanker?
Call 805-613-7866 today and use promotional code Grand Sumo Breakdown to get your first month free. Risotto Stone, how language is learned for hungry people.
Whoopsie-doo, and here we go with sumo.
Don't
We should at least
ever-
find one that
Don't
rhymes.
ever
Maybe-
do that again.
No.
Can you go back to all right?
No. It is forever now. Whoopsie-doo, and here we go.
This is going to be a long year.
Oh, God.
So, Jake, I believe you wanted to update everybody on where the GSB belt stands at this time before the beginning of the Hatsu Basho.
At all times, I want to do this, yes. Ura is our current GSB belt champion. This is the championship we invented last Basho. It was awarded to the winner of the very first match in the Basho, and the winner takes the belt each match it is defended. So, like, the belt is going to gradually make its way up the rankings.
We hope.
I mean, inevitably it kind of has to, but it doesn't have to in any real sort of timeline. So it could take another like three bashos, or it could take another 50 years. It's far more likely going to be shorter, though.
No, I would bet it being short.
As I mentioned when we started this, I did a couple test cases in it.
Hattori Zakura?
No, it was about a year.
Oh.
Dear Lord, no.
What are you talking about? No. Did a couple test cases, and it took maybe a year to a year and a half for the belt to work all the way up to Yokozuna. But Ura won it on day 13, and he's still got it. As Ryan mentioned, we're recording this on the Monday before the Basho, so we don't know the matchups. We don't know exactly when Ura's first match will be. But he is ranked at Jonidan 28 East, so that is in one basho, a pretty solid jump. That's a division and a half that it made it up. And interestingly enough, all 4 previous GSB belt champions are in the upper half of Jonidan. Yu Takanami, Otsuji, and Tosa Midori all had the belt at one time or another, and they all had good enough tournaments that they moved their way up. And that is to be just to throw it out there. Hakuho never had the GSB belt.
No, I mean this is a very prestigious title.
Very prestigious.
That'll be
That's what Hakuho's waiting for.
yeah.
Yes,
That's
clearly,
when Hakuho's
clearly.
going to retire.
I've got the GSB belt
I heard-
and no more.
I heard
I'm good.
this new championship belt from these people from America are putting on. I need it.
It's a beautiful
I know
belt.
nothing of it, only that I want it.
I mean, look at this thing. This is like solid gold. This is like 50 pounds of gold.
I
right
can't
here.
help but notice, Jake, that you're pointing at nothing.
Dude, shut up. It's a podcast. Nobody was going to double check me.
Whoopsie-doo, here we go. All right, we're
God, stop it! Stop it! Right now!
All right, whoopsie doo.
Let's move on to our prediction series, which is getting a major overhaul that we're going to try out this basho. We got a little bit of feedback, mostly from Fleric and Mac, that choosing 6 people is a little bit too much for them to handle and follow throughout a tournament.
I can hardly keep one or just half of a Rikshi in my mind.
Well, you're in luck. But yeah, picking 6 guys for our prediction series and 6 guys for our fantasy sumo, we're going to combine this into like a new fantasy sumo.
Yeah, so we aren't doing our typical fantasy tournament thing, which
So if you haven't seen it on Twitter, don't worry. You're okay.
it's just gone. Yeah,
It's just not there.
It's much worse. It's just completely gone.
Exactly.
So what we're going to be doing, we're each going to be selecting our champ for the tournament and our chump for the tournament. And how it's going to work is you get 1 point every time your champ wins. You get 3 points if your champ gets a special prize, and 5 points if your champ wins the U show. And if your chump loses, they just lose a point. But you will also lose.
You gain a point when
you
you
gain
jump
a
You
one.
gain a
your
point
chump
if your
loses.
chump loses. You will also lose 5 points if your chump wins the U show.
So we're basically using our old fantasy sumo scoring, but now instead of having a big, gigantic lineup of people that we're supposed to try and keep track of every 2 months, we're just doing, we pick one guy who's going to do good and one guy who's going to do bad each.
yeah.
Yes.
And this would be good for me because I can just know I have one person I want to do well and one person I don't want to
Yes.
do well.
Yes.
And we can write them on your hand for you when you leave if you like.
Yes, please.
And similar to the prediction series, we're going to choose it based on the order of how the last prediction series went. So this time, Fleric lost a prediction series, so he's going to choose his champ first, followed by Mac, then me, then Jake. And then when we're selecting our chump, it'll go in reverse order. Jake, then me, then Mac, then Fleric. And so Fleric. Oh, and one more thing. You cannot... So if Fleric decides that Abi is going to be his champ, nobody else can select Abi to be his champ.
As much as they want to.
Yeah, as much as I'm dying to choose Abi. But he would be eligible for me to pick as my chump. So, Fleric, with that being said, make our first ever champ selection.
Well,
The pressure is on you. The system rides on this choice, Fleric. We'll have to go back to the 6-person choosing system if you don't do well with this pick.
well,
I am equipped
yeah,
with
anybody's fine.
anticipation.
yeah.
Anybody's fine. Though.
Probably Daisho.
Okay,
Solid
you got
choice.
this. You got this. Breathe. Breathe.
The pressure is on, but I think that my choice is actually pretty freaking easy. Because if I don't pick Hakuho, I think it would be a little silly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah, like it's a new system. Might as well start with the best.
Fair enough.
All right, Mac, who is your champ?
That's a good question.
Yeah,
Since this
and the
You
risk
knew this
is-
was coming.
No, I knew it was coming.
Yeah.
That's why I have it written out on my notebook.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
actually write my shit
Yeah,
down.
and the risk before when we had multiple choices, like if one person kind of dropped out, like you still had a chance to still stay in the game.
Yeah, if
But now-
Hakuho fights one time and then drops out, Fleric's probably effed.
Yeah.
Disclaimer: if Hakuho pulls out before the tournament starts, he can repick.
Yeah.
Yes.
But as long as Hakuho starts the tournament, he's locked in.
Yeah, so the pressure is on. Like, just you kind of want to pick the Yokozuna, but they're kind of very likely to kind of pull out as soon as something starts going wrong.
Which is why I'm going with Asanoyama.
That's actually pretty smart. Actually,
Kind of wanted Asanoyama. I'm not feeling the utmost confidence in Kakuryu. I'll go with...
Goedo.
Ooh, there's an idea.
That'll
No.
never happen.
I'll go with Taka Keisho. I was going to try to go with maybe a Maegashira that I thought could get a special prize, get some sneaky 3 points in there since none of the Ozeki or Yokozuna are eligible for the special prize. But I'll go with Taka Keisho.
Well, I didn't expect you to pick my first 3 picks. I was hoping someone would sneak in there with a dumb Kakuryu pick and then have him pull out. I can't not take Mitake Yumi. I know he's facing the same guys he was going to at Sekiwake, but I trust him a whole hell of a lot more than I trust Daisho. Had to get one more dig in there.
That's blasphemy right there.
All right, and since we do snake drafts on everything we do here, I am going to... Do absences count as losses?
After the first day.
Think
Yes.
Yes.
So even if Jake selects like Tamawashi as his chump and Tamawashi pulls out before the first day, Jake be like, oh yeah, perfect. 0-15. Give me those 15 points. No, if your chump pulls out before the first day, you have to select a new chump.
But like if I were to pick Kakuryu and he went like 1-1 and then pulled out, would I get a bunch of points for the time that he's gone?
Because that still counts.
That does still count for like...
This time, yes, to be evaluated in the future.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
As long
agree
as they
with that.
start the tournament,
Yes,
absences
as long as
from
they start the tournament.
subsequent injuries would count?
I think it gets a little less fun when you aren't actually rooting against someone in their matches.
Maybe we institute a system where if your chump pulls out, you have to pick a new chump no matter where it is in the tournament.
We might have to draw some diagrams and stuff.
Yeah.
like that.
We'll
We'll
figure it out
work
later.
We'll work
I've got a cork board. We can put some strings and thumbtacks on it and pictures and all that.
But
Let's
for
do
this
that.
time, yes.
But for this time, I am struggling between a couple, but I got to do it. I got to go Koto Yuki.
You jerk.
Koto Yuki has been my nemesis the entire time that I have been a sumo fan.
The one I wanted.
That's too bad. That's not how this works. But even though he got an 8 and 7 from Maegashira 4 and is now at Maegashira 3, I think I dislike him too much to... Yeah, it's Koto Yuki.
This is actually pretty tough because the guys in the zone of death that are going to go up against the Sanyaku schedule, they're actually
They're all
pretty
seasoned
decent
Zone of Death guys.
slate,
Yeah.
except for Oki no Umi, my chump.
That I know a very specific sumo celebrity who would very heartily disagree with
I am
you.
sorry, Jason, but not really. Oki no Umi.
All right, there you go.
Chump.
It's on the Google Doc. It's locked in forever.
It's on the Googs.
On the Googs. Mac, who do you want on the Googs?
For me and the Googs, it's got to be Daisho.
Our mascot?
Yes.
Our up-and-coming star, our number one rickshi of the Grand Sumo Breakdown podcast, Daisho?
The chump, yes.
That's actually really smart.
Yeah, it's probably a good pick.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well done.
Flerick, who do you
I am
have?
disappointed in all of you.
Ryan is just fuming over here.
I am memeing myself into an honest Daisho fan over here. Don't stop me.
We've only been recording like an hour and a half.
Don't stop me. You'll see. You'll all see.
I don't think we will see.
No, I don't think we will.
All right. So, how much time do you think we have left on this podcast?
Pick in like the next 10 seconds.
Oh, no.
Ten.
Oh, I get that. I'm just kind of
we
wondering.
just want to see how high we can meme this up.
No, I was kind of waiting because I'm likely going to get kicked out of this house by picking Takayasu. Because, yeah.
Get the hell out.
Yeah.
Whose face is on this cup?
Mac, get the hell out.
You beat the dead horse.
I did not mention the wall.
It's the same meme.
He moved the
No, it
chairs
isn't.
up.
All right, just to summarize, we have Flerick picking Hakuho for his champ and Takayasu for his chump.
Let's go.
Mac is picking Asanoyama for his champ and Daisho for his chump.
Bring it on.
Ryan's got Takakeisho for his champ and Okinoumi for his chump. And the winning team has Mitakeyumi at champ and that rat bastard Koto Yuki
That I wanted.
for the chump.
And you know what I think I'll do? I'm going to go on Twitter and I'm going to post tweets for champ and chump.
Hey, we can do a 4-item poll, right? We can toss out these teams, see what people think.
We could do that. I was also thinking we'll just get whoever's like the most popular selection of champ as people leave comments, and then whoever's the most popular chump, we can go up against the fans and see how we do against
That's a good
them.
idea.
They don't get to win anything or lose anything, but they will get bragging rights to see, hey, we our chump and champ were better than your guys'. And they will get a full selection of everybody. It's
good
not
idea.
like they
Yeah,
can't
there you
choose Hakuho or something like that.
And if they do end up losing week, fully expect punishments to be recorded.
That's right. Yes, sorry.
I want punishments recorded.
I misspoke. They can't win anything. They'll absolutely have to follow through with the punishments.
All right, Ryan, you go doodling around on Twitter and see what you can come up with for us.
I can do that.
You are the doodler. That as
Don't
defending
laugh like
Yokozuna, though.
As defending doodler.
God.
All right, you go defend your doodles. But as the reigning defending champion Yokozuna, I am passing over the little teacup of punishments with Takayasu's face on it over to our reigning defending loser to draw the punishment. What do we have?
And we have run out of punishments as of the spicy food challenge on the last one. So we have refilled the Takayasu cup of punishments. And it does include some previous punishments that we've had.
Yeah, well, if you got any ideas, send in new ones. But we've got a pretty good slate of these. I don't think we've had any that were disappointing.
Yeah.
And Flarik, have you finally managed to unfold that piece of paper?
He's stroking it lovingly.
I'm trying to do some ASMR with this.
What
stuff.
is
Let's
the
keep on.
punishment Ryan will have to do?
If it's singing a song, I can't do it.
Sumo-erotica?
I was going
Sumo-erotica?
to say, you've already broken it, so you can commit to this song with sumo lyrics.
All right. This is probably my favorite one, and I really need Jake to lose this.
You have a song lined up?
I have like 10 songs specifically for you lined up.
Wait, I haven't lost in a while. It could be me.
Could be.
You sound excited about that prospect, Mac.
I have so many songs you don't even know.
We don't even know.
Yeah, we
No,
correct.
I've been keeping it secret. I've been keeping it safe.
I believe you.
But yeah, we should find some way to get a champ and a chump from our listeners on Twitter, etc.
Yep.
That would be fun to see what.
Yeah, who are you rooting for, and who do you really want to not do well?
Yep.
I'm curious.
I will also send out our typical bold prediction thread on Twitter so that we can see what everybody else is going to think is happening this Basho, and then shame and praise everybody who responded on our review episode based on the results of the Hatsu Basho.
That's my favorite part.
The shame.
Oh, just relentlessly shaming people who went out on a limb and tried to do something unique and smart.
Yeah.
We need to hit that nail down.
Yep. I mean, we do it for like an hour and a half on our podcast every tournament, so whatever.
And let's wrap up that podcast by discussing what everyone is most excited for in the Hatsu Basho. Let's start with Mac.
I'm just happy for the new year, man.
That's a cheap answer. Tell me something
All
real.
right, no, you want something? All right, Asanoyama. I want to see his rise. I want to see an Ozeki run out of him because I think it's bull that his 2 tournaments prior to this don't count into that run. I want Asanoyama. I would be
16-0.
smacking this desk. Yes, I want. Well, 16-0 would just be outstanding.
Yeah, it would.
But I know it's not going to happen. Anyway,
Yeah.
I want to see Asanoyama kick ass and take names.
For me, coming into this podcast, I probably would have agreed with Mac that seeing Asanoyama rise up to Ozeki would be the number one thing I'm looking forward to. But I think it's happened. I've memed myself into wanting this.
Why?
I
Ryan, no.
Why?
Just to spite all of you guys, I really want to see Daisho do well in this turn. I will take an 8-7. I want Daisho to do well this Basho. I want Sekiwake Daisho by the time we're talking about Haru 2020. Make it happen.
You heard it, Daisho.
You have a fan now. You're welcome.
The pressure's on.
Regular listener Daisho.
Well, yeah, don't they all listen?
I mean, I think so.
Well, friend of the show, Kisuna Sato, Arisa Oyakata does.
Yeah, he plays it during practices.
These Americans, you will
repeat.
listen to them.
All right, Jake, what are you most excited for besides Daisho?
Besides Daisho, I think that we're in a very prime position, more so than we have been recently, to see some of that new generation turnover we've been talking about. I think Takakeisho, Asanoyama, maybe even like Abi.
Is it
but
finally
Yes.
Natasha's time to
Yumi,
shine?
Hokuto
Yes.
Fuji. There's plenty of guys that I think could very realistically be in the Yusho race. And honestly, I think it's just because of that stupid Komusubi situation that makes it look like there's fewer guys in the Sanyaku ranks that is encouraging to me. I know it's a completely dumb reason. It's the same guys that were wrestling last tournament, but I do feel more excited for generational turnover. And yeah, I guess part of that is because it is a new year, and that's something that humans have arbitrarily decided means time for changing things, I guess.
Indeed. The thing I'm looking most excited for is a twofer. First one is definitely what you were talking about, generational turnover. I am excited about how Takakeisho Asanoyama is going to kind of go. I think Takakeisho has the three wins to 2 losses in that matchup.
I'll see if I can figure it out.
And so, but Asanoyama won the last one. So I'm kind of excited to kind of see that rivalry continue. And to finish it up, it's just I want to see Tochinoshin just kind of Space Jam Enhil into a basketball.
Just launch him into orbit.
You were correct, by the way. It is 3-2 in favor of Takakeisho, but Asanoyama did get the last one.
Yeah.
Man, we were talking like a year and a half ago about Takakeisho and Onosho coming up all the way from middle school together. Man, that'd be cool if Onosho put it back together. He really hasn't since
That's
that
a tall
injury.
order.
Has he? No.
He has to step up.
But hey, if Asanoyama is his rival instead, I can live with that.
Well, with all of that being said, it is time to mercifully end this Hatsu preview podcast. So the Basho is going to be starting this Sunday, which I believe off the top of my head is the 12th of January. Nailed it. And so if you enjoy this podcast, you can leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or your favorite podcast listening service.
You can find us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Grand Sumo Breakdown.
Our blog is grandsumobreakdown.wordpress.com.
If you have any questions, comments, or corrections, drop us a line at grandsumobreakdown@gmail.com or give us a call at 805-613-7866. That's 805-613-SUMO.
Speaking of that phone number, we did receive a call recently, which we're not going to put on the podcast as it was entirely in Japanese, and we wholeheartedly believe that it was somebody admonishing our pronunciation of Kimarite.
Kimarite.
Kimit Urte.
Yes, thank you, Flair. You nailed it.
You're welcome.
However, it's pronounced based on how we pronounced it in the bonus episode that we released for the game show. So whoever that was,
Please try again in English because we do suck at this.
and I was also going to say our apologies. We are trying. It's a foreign language. I swear we're trying our best to pronounce these words correctly. And if you weren't admonishing us because we still have no idea what you were saying,
this was great.
yeah, maybe he was saying how happy he was with our pronunciation of Kimarite.
I really like how they pronounce Kimarite.
Kimariter, yeah.
Kimarite.
Yeah.
It was probably that.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, feel free to leave us a voicemail about anything. We love them, even if you're telling us we're pronouncing things wrong. But also save your time. We know. Thank you for listening to Grand Sumo Breakdown.
Until next time.
Throw your salt high.
And keep moving forward.